What is going on, everybody? It is episode 318 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We're just going to do a chill two-person show today.
It's just a chill two-person show.
It's just us in the chat.
Yes, I've got my eye on the chat. You guys are our co-hosts today. It's us in the chat. It's us and
you
them.
guys are the guests.
Yes. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We were going to talk about Netflix. They've taken all your money. They've removed your ability to password share. And with that extra money, what they plan to do is spend $130 million on a rom-com. Hopefully not from the same writers as Bros. No, it's not. It's not.
You're like yelling at Netflix saying, like, you ruined my life.
Yes.
And Netflix is like, I don't even know who you are.
It's basically what it is. They're like they're laughing at me. It's very, very sad. We're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about Ice Spice and hanging out with Northwest, which I did not know that Northwest was 9 years old. So
I didn't either.
I have questions as to why a 23-year-old is hanging out with a 9-year-old. So
it's a good question.
It's a good question. We'll discuss that. We are also going to talk about Donnie Yen. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. We just talked about him last week. He is a menace, apparently.
This foot soldier of Xi Jinping.
Well, a bunch of people, there's been a 60,000 person petition to get him ousted from his presenter duties at the Oscars due to his connections to China. So we will talk about that. And we're also going to discuss Harry Styles doing the courtesy of helping a young fan come out as gay to their parents at a concert. So
Because they really needed help.
yeah, I know in today's day and age where it's like nowadays you come out as straight and your parents are like, oh my God.
But you like Harry Styles.
Yeah, exactly.
I always thought.
It's very weird. I just assumed. I just assumed. And then they'd be like, that's stereotyping. So before we get started, though, we got a bunch of stuff that I like, little things I want to drive by real quickly here. The first of which I just came across. Apparently, Jon Bernthal will be showing up as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again, which is good. At one point, this is one of those stories that I've seen like everybody floated as like, they're coming back and they're coming back. And then it's like, no, actually, they're not coming back. There's whole Instagram accounts whose jobs are just to make like infographics for things that are just not true. Like they read an article that says so-and-so might come back. And then the infographic says definitely coming back. So Jon Bernthal will be back as the Punisher, hopefully very violent, hopefully lots of gunplay. It would be fantastic. They do not, however, believe that Deborah Ann Woll or Eldon Henson will be back as Foggy Nelson or as Karen Page. And I don't know if that means that they recast Karen Page, because you can't really, I mean...
The logic of this, it just doesn't follow. We're making a new show that's entirely distinct from the last one, so don't think that there's any connection between it.
But
it has all the same actors in it, and it has the same name.
Yep, it has, you know, so Matt Murdock is back with Charlie Cox. We have the same guy coming back to play Kingpin, so it's going to be really, really interesting to see how like some aspects of it turn over, some aspects of it don't. I like Jon Bernthal in that character. Some people, he's kind of hit and miss for a lot of people in that role. A lot of people loved the violence in those episodes, but thought that Jon Bernthal wasn't the most accurate Punisher. So we will see. But also, guys, not just that, we've got a couple of trailers that you might want to check out after the show today. The first of which is the trailer for Citadel, which is from the Russo brothers. You know them from Avengers Endgame and Captain America Winter Soldier. Thank you for that. As well as a bunch of other stuff. We know them most recently from The Gray Man, which Mary was not a fan of, and I was just meh. It was fine.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of it because it was
so meh. Yeah, so this is Richard Madden and Priyanka Chopra. I refuse to call her Priyanka Chopra Jonas. She's just Priyanka.
It's Chopra though, isn't it?
It's Chopra. I say Chopra though.
Chopra Jonas.
Yeah, I'm not saying either of those. So it's a spy thriller where like he can't remember her and she can't remember him, and then they come back and they remember each other from a dream. It's kind of interesting looking. Cinematography is actually really, really beautiful in the shot. It's kind of boilerplate stylish Hollywood, but I really like it. And then the other trailer here is for Chris Evans and Ana de Armas in Ghosted. Does it feel like they're just too scared to make like a guy-only spy movie these days? They're like, sorry, we can't do that anymore. It has to have a girl in it.
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Basically, Ana de Armas plays badass spy chick, and Chris Evans plays like a guy who like kind of fell in love with her on a date and then follows her to
Wait.
Europe.
Isn't she gonna get badass spy chick in Ballerina anyway?
Yes, she is. Well, she's being typecast as badass
She kind
spy
of
chick,
is,
which is
yeah.
fine. But she's smoking hot in this trailer with the blonde hair, so I approve. I approve
I
this.
haven't seen
But of
her.
course, half the trailer is Chris Evans looking doofy and stupid. He just gets dragged into this spy thriller with her character, and he's like, she's saving him a bunch, and he looks like an idiot. But
He's
then
probably like Chris Pine in that
Yes.
he just revels in being demeaned and degraded and humiliated.
He has
it's
the
like
face-
a fetish for him.
he has the face for it. He does.
He actually does,
He
yeah.
does.
If you look at him even in this screen cap,
like,
you can
"Who?"
see the fear in his eyes.
Yeah. But then halfway through the trailer, they show him firing guns and all this stuff. So if the idea was supposed to be that it's like a double cross and he was a spy all along, why would you ruin that twist in the trailer?
Oh.
Doesn't make any sense. So both trailers that are worth checking out, guys. I think you might like. At the very least, I think you might like the Citadel trailer. If you thought anything of the Gray Man, this is kind of
Which
in
you
that
probably
same
didn't.
realm. I don't know. Some people are fine.
Is there anyone out there that would say like The Gray Man was my favorite movie?
No, that's not a thing. I don't think that's a thing, ladies and gentlemen. Also, so I posted on Twitter before we got started today that they have the first reviews have come out for Gotham Knights, which is the most recent Greg Berlanti CW DC show. Apparently not connected to the Arrowverse, and the reviews are not good. And what else do you expect when you kill Batman off in the first 5 minutes of the show, which is what they do in the show? And then they don't even involve, they have his adopted son, but it's not any of the actual Bat family, meaning there's no Damian, there's none of these other characters that people actually want to see.
When you make derivative shows and movies that don't actually include any of the original characters, something like a Rings of Power, what stakes are you bringing to it, you know?
And it's not connected to the Arrowverse at all. And to be fair, I did love the first two seasons of both Arrow and The Flash, and I enjoyed the first two seasons, of Legends of Tomorrow. It wasn't until after that when the identity politics started to get really heavy on those shows, so it is what it is. But it might be worth checking out if you guys want something to laugh at. I'm certainly not. I've already done one Velma this year. I'm not watching this show. I refuse. But it's not that long after Mark Guggenheim actually came out and said basically that doing the Arrowverse was a waste of time because they didn't allow him to join the DCU. He wanted the Marvel contract. Yeah, so they didn't give him that. So that's too bad for him. I'm hoping that they go better with their TV shows in the future, but that's not going to happen on the CW. And they do still have, to be fair, Superman and Lois on HBO Max, which is worth checking out. So I do recommend that. And do we have Cringe of the Day? We do have to. Okay, let's check it out. You found this one earlier today. What is it? It says something about steaks. Oh my God, what is that?
It's like this guy on TikTok, I think he's trying to troll people, but he's like doing the most extreme carnivore diet I've ever seen, and it's nauseating.
All right, let's see this. Hold on, I'm trying this.
He cooked a steak under sink water.
That's disgusting.
Like hot sink water. Like boiled it.
Let's get it.
I'm muting it.
Like he's just waiting for it to get brown on the outside. And it's just it just looks like that stick of butter that he put on top of it. He just got out of the fridge and it's still like cold.
That is
just
extreme
like
carnivore.
It's just watery, but also buttery.
Is it real or is it a troll? Somebody in the chat says it's a troll. Is it a troll?
How do you know?
How do you know? I also saw a thing the other day of a guy who made 300 pizza rolls in the dryer.
What do you do with the dryer? Just throw the whole dryer away.
He made 300.
Okay, the only reason I think this guy might not be trolling is because his other videos, he's like eating literal testicles. He is eating like bull testicles.
Yum.
Uncooked. Just straight up. And it's absolutely disgusting.
That is disgusting.
He said like, oh, I had this burger with bull testicle buns. Like instead of like a burger bun or a sandwich, like bread on a sandwich, he uses bull testicles. Like
I would like to go back into time to 10 seconds ago before I knew that.
Anyway, I'm not carnivore anymore because I felt like I was gonna die. So
how long did you make it?
It was 11 days.
And it was the whole time. It was a struggle.
The whole time I didn't end up feeling any better. Didn't lose my cravings for all the carbs.
She's like, I'm not giving away my carbs.
No.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I guess for now, let's say I'll just do no meat for Lent.
Yeah.
How about that?
There
One
you go.
extreme to another.
There you go. All right, guys, we're about to get started. So Netflix recently, they haven't started the password sharing stuff yet. They've rolled that out in certain places that are apparently a lot less fortunate than us here in the US where they wait on stuff like that. But Netflix isn't known for being the most fiscally responsible with their spending. I think that's fair to say. Would you say that's fair to say?
It's confusing because Netflix is weirdly frugal about some things, meaning, you know, if a show doesn't get like 1 billion people to watch the full thing, the full first season in 48 hours, they'll cancel it.
Yeah.
But then they'll allocate $130 million to a new movie.
So this is a movie called Paris Paramount. It is a Nancy Meyer movie. Nancy Meyer is a prolific director and writer in Hollywood. So there is something to be said there. We're talking...
what else is she known for?
Father of the Bride, The Holiday, Something's Gotta Give, all very, very big productions. And she is prolific in writing. She's prolific in directing. She hasn't directed anything since like 2015 or something like that. So she's been on a hiatus of sorts. And this movie is going to have Scarlett Johansson. And then they're also rumored as Penelope Cruz, Michael Fassbender, and Owen Wilson, which is like, you know, that's prime rom-com territory. So they're making a rom-com, ladies and gentlemen, and it is going to cost them $130 million.
Okay, some people were reacting in the chat saying that sounds like a pittance for any random movie budget, but for rom-coms in particular, I guess they are just such a niche relative to, you know, a superhero movie or an action movie.
They made the My Big Fat Greek Wedding for $5 million, and it made $368 million.
That's like basically the same price as a Big Fat Greek Wedding in real life.
For inflation, that's like 8.3 million, and then it's like 612 million. But here's the thing. It's not as far-fetched as you think, because one of her biggest movies, at least the one that I remembered the most vividly, given that I'm not a romantic comedy guy, is The Holiday. I think everyone's seen The Holiday. That cost $85 million to make, and adjusted for inflation, that's $128 million. So it's right in line with what she was paid, what she spent to make The Holiday. And I think The Holiday made $205 million. So adjusted for inflation, that's like what, 310 or something like that?
Okay.
So when you think about it.
It says that Nancy Meyer's CAA team went back to Netflix and claimed it would be hard to make the movie for less than $150 million.
We're going to need 150.
Is it in space?
Yeah, and it's not sci-fi. They make a point of pointing that out. This, if anything, this is considered semi-autobiographical to the author, Nancy Meyer. So this is not My Big Fat Greek Wedding in Space. This is not...
this is like The Fabelmans, Nancy Meyer's edition. Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking of was not just that, but there was The Lost City last year. That did really well, and some would consider that, you know, it's not a romantic comedy, but it's a romantic action movie in a way, the one with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock, and that one cost like $68 million to make.
Well, maybe, you know, you could say this is an irresponsible decision on the part of Netflix, but we do crazy things for love, and
that's true.
This could be a sign that the tide is changing, and people are... There is like an untapped demand for
watch it end up being like
romantic movies.
No, watch it like they're gonna Uno reverse you at the end. It's gonna be like both couples are gay. It's gonna be ScarJo and Penelope Cruz.
Well, they are adding some like
Wilson.
Cynical aspects to rom-coms in recent years. Like, of course, Bros is a very like self-referential, woke, kind of hypersexualized version of a rom-com.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I think it wasn't very successful.
Yeah.
But another one is actually I think it is yet to come out, but it has Julia Roberts and George Clooney in it. They play a divorced couple that is traveling across the world to prevent their daughter from hastily getting married to a guy that they think is like not trustworthy. I don't really know the whole story.
That's kind of cute.
But then they end up falling back in love or something.
Oh, that's adorable. See, I'm okay with it.
So it's like a modern twist that's like acknowledging the ways that romance has kind of died, but at the same time providing some like avenue of hope.
Yeah.
Especially because honestly, being divorced now is something that's sadly sort of relatable to the average like adult moviegoer.
Yeah.
Like most of them, maybe half are divorced.
Oh yeah, if not more.
If not, never married.
And in that, well, yeah, I would say divorced.
Never married and broken up, but still co-parents or something like that. Like people relate to that, which is sad, but there's also like a way that you can come out of that with in a positive light, you know?
If someone asked you to make a romantic comedy, what would you make it about?
Oh gosh. I'm too cynical to make a feel-good, wholesome movie. Am I not, you know?
Yeah.
I'd have to sit down and think about that.
I bet you have it in you. I bet you have it in you. I bet you could, you're a girl. Like you could do it.
I mean, I feel like the dystopian rom-com of the 2020s is like a guy who, you know, starts dating some like OF girl or like a Twitch streamer girl and like believes that he can save her and he can fix her. It's like Pretty Woman, but she's an online like titty streamer / like e-prostitute. And
it's like a reverse of the girls who like want to date.
Successfully convinces her that like he will take care of all her needs and she doesn't need to sell her body online anymore.
And which
would never happen, of course. But rom-coms are pie in the sky fantasies.
And she has a brother that's in prison who is dating a girl who thinks that she can save him from a life of crime. That's the classic version of that story.
Well, yeah. Usually women want to like save the guy.
Yeah.
Not save him. I guess just like
change him
or like. What women want is
guys want to save the girls.
The only person who sees this like rough criminal as like his softest, most vulnerable version of himself, right?
Yeah.
Even if he's not a criminal, if he's just like some kind of like damaged, bad boy,
yeah.
Right? So that would appeal
to
their.
He runs all the stop signs in their local town.
Their psychological fixations, but like. Guys have the same thing too. They date girls who are, you know, on OF all the time, thinking I'm going to save her, I'm going to change her. Like probably Riley Reid's ex.
They're not just doing that because the girl is sufficiently good in bed. You'd think
or Mia Khalifa's ex-husband did.
You know.
Like that's something that people can relate to. Being divorced or being, you know, broken up, co-parents is something people unfortunately these days can relate to. On a big scale.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to see like a switch in the way that rom-coms are written, I guess.
Yeah. Like we talked about it like last week with Hannah Claire where I kind of said rom-coms will never be a thing again because this country can't figure out what the hell it wants out of sexuality and relationships. But maybe the idea is that in 20 years things calm down and as the social dynamics here in America change, the concept of what makes a romantic comedy will change.
Yeah.
And you'll end up, it'll be about a boy and a girl matching on Tinder, but they live next door to each other. And oh my God, you were next door to me all along.
It's hard to believe that they can do that right.
I know.
In this day and age. And are they even going to be making rom-coms about young people anymore? Like actually young people? I mean,
isn't that kind of what they do on Netflix with like the what are those
oh yeah, the kissing booth
the kissing booth
like
ones
that.
where like, I mean, I've never seen them, but I know
I haven't seen that
there's
either.
like 4 of them. Like,
yeah,
can you believe that?
It was
4?
pretty popular.
Those are like, and I think is that where the curly hair style came from? Like
the perm?
Didn't that kid
I
have
don't
that?
know. I never saw the kid, but I know Joey King is in it, and she's great.
Somebody says trans boy and girl fall in love.
No, no. Oh my gosh, please. No.
I went down a rabbit hole earlier, like yesterday. I got into my own little bit of trouble where I was reading some just absolutely just psychotic comments from people on something of that nature where someone's like, if you don't want to date a trans person, it's your job to tell them. It's not their job to tell you that they're trans. It's your job to tell them that that you're not interested in dating a trans person because telling someone that they're trans opens them up to violence. And this dude, for like 100 comments, was talking about how it's not the trans person's responsibility
Hold
to
on.
tell you that they're trans.
Imagine you're on a date with a biological female who is not trans, and you just out of the blue make this comment that's like, yeah, I'm not really interested in dating a trans woman.
That's what they were saying.
And she is like, are you implying that I look like I'm biologically male? Like,
That's exactly what they were saying.
Of course, pours hot coffee on you and walks out like any normal woman should.
And it reminded, like, somebody pointed out, they're like, look, what if even if you don't have a problem with it, what if the person wants kids? Like, what? Like, if you can't give them kids, isn't that the whole point of dating?
See, all of these, postmodern confusions are going to poison making films about love.
Absolutely. No, it's already poisoned.
Yeah, because dating culture and marriage and relationships and situationships and all of this insanity, it's ruined anyone's ability to suspend disbelief. Yeah. And that's what you need to do to watch any movie. And
a lot of it is the simplicity of it. Like there's a lot of simplicity to the story. For all the twists and turns, it comes back to a very simple idea of two people overcoming challenges and falling in love. And you can't do that anymore. Because first of all, we are in a cynical age, and you talk a lot about nihilism from your generation, right? I think my generation is cynical and your generation is a little bit nihilistic.
I mean, what are you going to do? Make rom-coms about your self-love and your development of your relationship with yourself?
Basically, yeah, that's what they want. I mean,
you can say that that's what people want to see, but it's just not true, and you can't force it to happen.
Movies require people to interact with one another, and a story about self-love is inherently soloist, right? So it's more about how that person interacts with themselves, and you can't have a movie where it's just them talking to themselves the whole time. So it has to be how they interact with the people around them. And that's not what people really want. One of the things that I love about movies and television shows, and this is something that I've come to kind of understand recently, is a lot of writing, and why movies are not reality more than anything is that when a writer writes a scene where two people interact and they have some great dialogue, what they're writing is what they would always wish could have been said, not what actually gets said in the real world.
Which is why when you're watching it, you can't be over-analyzing what they're saying the whole time.
But
you're like, they would never say that.
But
or she would never swoon at that line that you just delivered, But it's about the fantasy, and you have to be able to suspend disbelief. And the cynical emptiness of modern dating is kind of degrading our ability to do that. Another thing is the dominant feminist narrative we're living in right now is that all women know exactly what they want, and usually it's to be alone. And that's not true.
To make their money.
To get your bag and to dump him and to not commit. And that's just, maybe that's representative of, multimillionaire Megan Thee Stallion. That's not what normal women want.
Even then they end up having kids.
Usually,
They just one of the biggest things that annoys me about celebrities is I don't need anybody, I don't need this narrative, or even you don't need to look feminine, you don't need to look beautiful, and then they show up on the red carpet in a skin-tight dress looking absurdly feminine. They say one thing and they do another all the time. All of these people do that in Hollywood. I would love a good classic love story. It doesn't even have to be classic. I'm talking we could do.
It can be realistic.
Yeah,
we can make it modern.
Or even what was the one where he pictures her as beautiful, but she's actually fat. I forget that.
Oh, who did that have in it? Amy Adams or
no?
Was it somebody else?
Amy Schumer? Was it?
No, it wasn't Amy.
Amy Adams is tiny. Maybe Amy Adams played the tiny person role on, but
I do remember the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's something we need more. That's not inherently classic, but it's still adorable. Look, not another teen movie. The Girl Next Door is one of my favorite movies of all time. That's absolutely a romantic comedy. It's a coming of age story and a romantic comedy in a lot of ways. The Holiday was good, and The Holiday is the movie. Nancy Meyer made The Holiday. And the other thing about this is that a lot of the money, if they do end up getting Shallow Hal, thank you. That was with Jack Black. That's who was in that movie. Jack Black was. Thank you, chat. But if they're gonna have ScarJo and they're gonna have Penelope Cruz and Michael Fassbender and Owen Wilson, that's your budget right there. All of those actors command huge salaries, so you're gonna be putting a lot of money towards them. But
if you're gonna draw the classics like Jennifer Lopez or Reese Witherspoon,
Gwyneth
or
Paltrow,
Julia Roberts,
they mentioned she was in Shallow Hal. She was in Shallow Hal.
you're gonna have to be spending more money, and people are gonna. I think like if you do this well, people will watch.
They can call it Live, Laugh, Love.
There is a genuine desire for this. I just don't know if the writers in Hollywood are even mentally capable. Like they're so.
You'd have to hire people from outside Hollywood,
right?
Yeah.
Like they're so demented that they can't just figure it out. Like it's a very simple task, and they're just like,
get ChatGPT. Just get an AI. An AI could probably write it better than Hollywood at this point.
yeah, honestly.
If you limit the parameters, I bet you an AI could write a better version of this.
Have you watched Bridget Jones's Diary?
Yes. At least I did a long time ago.
That movie and those books, and it's like actually about a woman grappling with getting older and being a prospective single spinster with cats and wine and all of the rest of the dressings of that, and disliking her life, but also not knowing what she wants. Okay, maybe? Like you need to have this element of a rom-com, usually I think, where a woman is told what she wants. Yeah. She doesn't know what she wants, right? Like that's accurate to reality. A lot of women don't know what they want.
Maybe the idea is that like it takes time for trends to change, and we're just going to have to wait out the sad day when all the chickens come home to roost for all the women who are kind of being led down the path of get your bag queen, you're going to be happy with your 20 set. Like I would love to meet the big cat industrial complex that has been pushing most of this, that and Big Wine. Big Cat and Big Wine, which have been pushing these narratives for a very long time. And eventually one day...
Is it true that they're like boxed wine companies and cat litter companies are getting more investment now?
Probably. I mean, I remember there was
I heard that, but I don't know if it's true.
There was a study a long time ago that said like they were able to like double the sales of both beer and diapers by putting them together in stores, because wives would send their husbands out to get diapers, so the husband would see the beer next to the diapers and buy both. So maybe the idea is that you put the boxed wine next to the kitty litter and just boom, money for everyone. Like, let's go. In fact, me and you should start we should start a boxed wine company that sells them together.
What would we call it?
What would you call it?
You just call it Spinster. It's simple.
Wine and litter. Yeah, Spinsters Wine and Litter. That would be the name of our store, and we would be millionaires very, very many times over. I just think that there's going to be a time where eventually what will happen is a very good writer will have gone through all this and will have a good take on it and will manage to get that movie made, and maybe that changes things for the better down the line. They would just have to be able to not lie to themselves about how they feel about it. And it would require kind of the perfect storm of like the right actors, the right studio would have to approve the project, and it'll take time to get made. Will people even see it if it comes out on streaming? Who knows? Mm-hmm. But I'm down. I'm down to give this a shot. And maybe by then, Scarlett Johansson will be able to play that character because she'll be older when that comes out.
Yeah.
That's what it would be. So... and she's already starting to complain about how she was sexualized when she was younger. So she's already getting into the bitter stage, and she's like my age. She's already bitter.
I hope she's not. I hope that was just like the media manipulating things mostly.
We can hope for the best. Also, I love that like on the picture of this, like whenever they're like whenever they talk about these things, and she's like, I don't like it when people sexualize me, and then I'm like, well, you know that. It's fine.
You mentioned like the way that all of these actresses look on red carpets is totally the opposite of like what they claim.
At least the ones in my age range. The younger ones are kind of
depends.
Like Bella Ramsey's not coming down the aisle trying to look hot. Bella Ramsey's coming down the aisle dressed like a guy. But if you still
identify as a woman.
Yeah, okay, fair point.
You're going on the red carpet styled to the nines with the makeup and the hair done and all of that stuff. Looking very, of course, like stereotypically feminine. Yeah. Which is fine. I'm just thinking about like the way that rom-coms, they like romanticize the way that, you know, a man will see a woman without makeup on in her like natural state.
Yeah.
Not when she's like glammed up like that.
Yeah. Well, that's how she knew he loved her. Mary.
Right.
That's how she knew.
Right.
Because he and rap songs have even pushed that narrative, like with no makeup on. The other thing that's funny is, okay, so I was watching Elementary, which was a version of Sherlock Holmes on ABC or CBS. Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu plays Watson in that show. And for the first 4 seasons, she's dressed in this unbelievably cool and unique way that's very feminine. Like, she's very much a girl. She wears unique dresses, unique outfits. And then from like season 5 on, they started putting her in like pantsuits with like tops, like buttoned all the way to the top with ties. It was like they were going out of their way to make her masculine. And that
weird.
Bothered me because Lucy Liu is a beautiful lady. There was no need to do that.
And where does that come from? Like, who on their creative team decided that she needed to start presenting as more masculine? And
yeah, there was even a point like where like she's interviewing like a gay man who runs like a clothing boutique, and he goes, "Who dresses you, girl?" And she goes, "I dress myself." The point was that she was a classy, like, creative dresser. And then for some reason in season 5, she just starts to dress like a dude. And it makes no sense.
yeah.
I hate that. Like, first of all, it's not realistic to the character that the entirety of your dress would just change that drastically overnight. Mm-hmm. But also it feels like it has an agenda behind it.
Well, now, like, when Bella Ramsey, who identifies as non-binary, which we know is BS, is starting out as a character who is female, you're still presenting as gender neutral, despite that not being part of the character you're playing. So what is more important? How comfortable you feel?
Ask
or
Elliot Page.
Doing an accurate representation. Like, Elliot Page, of course, they catered to, like this gender transition by transitioning the character that Page was playing on the Umbrella Academy.
Yep. I hate that.
Which
means they have no respect for the character.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh, also this, so Karen Meyer Nancy Meyer, not Karen Meyer, made The Parent Trap. She also made The Parent, she made The Parent Trap, The Holiday, Something's Got to Give, Father of the Bride. She's got the pedigree to ask for that much money. It's just insane that in this day and age.
Why go straight to streaming then if you want?
I have no idea. That makes
budget.
Because Netflix is like, money doesn't matter. We don't care. We will give you the money. We're going to keep making it anyways. By the way, Netflix has been garbage the last week. I don't know if it's been my internet, but the UI has been extremely slow and not running properly, because that's what I've been watching Into the Badlands on.
Okay.
And it's like, I'll hit pause, and you wait like 7 seconds, and it finally pauses, and then you do the thing where you hit the button like 5 times, and then...
It's probably the internet here.
But it's not... But then I would go to watch something on another streaming service, and nothing would be lagging like that. So that doesn't make any sense.
They're doing tests on you.
Dude, I'm telling you,
what they do.
Instagram does that on Sundays. My timeline,
or you're just schizophrenic. Who knows?
That's completely plausible. That's completely plausible. All right, we got some super chats there. Now that we've discovered that I'm schizophrenic, Mary, let's go do some super chats.
Halls and the kids sent some emojis. I believe this means Peach Shirt King. They all love your shirt. They love the peach shade.
Yes.
That you've chosen today.
Both. I mean, I don't know if it lists it as pink.
It's daring.
I don't have a hat to match, so I had to...
Peach for spring? Groundbreaking.
I know, right? It's shocking.
Goofer Trooper said, what a beautiful Wednesday for some PCC. Let's go.
Eventually, you guys see, I'm not schizophrenic. I've just been gaslit to oblivion by this chat.
It's a Wednesday because Hannah Claire isn't here. It's a Wednesday.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough. Makes perfect sense.
Bert Fegg said, now back to many matters of great importance.
And what are those matters, I ask you?
I'm confused. Tiger Ginge 66 sent $1 without a message.
I read that as Tiger King and had a flashback to 2020.
I never watched Tiger King, and I'm proud of it.
No, I didn't watch it, but you couldn't be on Facebook or Instagram without having to look at endless memes about Carol Baskin. That bitch Carol Baskin.
Wow.
Well, you know.
Strong language.
He's still in jail, you know. The Tiger King. He's still in jail.
Yep. RS Degurchov said, them spending so much money on these failing movies, I wonder if they are purposely making them flop, just like the producer's scheme.
You know, it could be one of those things where like they've literally gotten so good at cooking the books that it just doesn't matter anymore. They've just beaten the game. They've reached the end level.
We don't know if it's gonna flop yet.
Well, I mean, we'll never know because we'll never get numbers.
They always lie anyway,
it's not gonna have a sequel. So how are we gonna like? I guess if it got a sequel, that would be one way of telling that that it did well or not. But not movie. You expect a season 2 of a TV show. You don't watch a movie and expect a sequel to a movie.
Yeah.
On Netflix.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
A hidden blessing.
Let's do one more, and then we'll move on.
Bert Fag said, I thought vamoose meant a lady moose's gonads learning.
I didn't know that. That's fantastic.
You should have never thought that.
I don't want to think that.
That was incorrect. Okay, we're going to move on, and we're talking about a bizarre play date that has occurred between 23-year-old Ice Spice and Kim Kardashian and Kanye West's 9-year-old daughter, Northwest. I'm just thinking, like, as a 22-year-old myself, like,
I'm putting this on the screen so people can see
what would my reasoning be for hanging out with a 9-year-old, possibly? I would either have to be getting paid to do it, which is entirely possible. Ice Spice could be getting paid to do this. Like, she was compared to a clown that is hired for a kid's birthday party.
Yeah.
Because of that afro.
Yeah.
It's giving Ronald McDonald. But secondly, they'd have to be related to me, and they're not related.
I think it's the other way
around. So what is going on here?
I think Ice Spice wants basically Kim's like just using the kids, like saying, oh, you would like to raise your personal profile a little bit. Why don't you hang out with my kids? It will be great. It will create viral moments on the internet. So
you think that this could be orchestrated and paid for by Ice Spice's public relations?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Either or.
Do you think that North would not be told about that, and she just genuinely thinks that her idol wants to hang out with her? Because that's even more sad.
It probably becomes like one of those things where like they know it's true, but it's such a normal thing in their life that they don't think of that the same way we think of it.
They're being patronized.
Like they're just used to every human interaction being transactional.
Maybe that's sad
in a lot of ways. So
Northwest, this all started because North drew a portrait of Ice Spice to one of her songs, posted a video of it
and then
on
they were
TikTok.
just like there's money to be made.
She showed it off, and then it seems like instantly her mother or Ice Spice's manager had the idea to arrange a play date between the two of them.
Even that language is creepy. Even the language
no one said it. I just thought of it. I thought of this as a play date because, like, North brought her school friends along with her to the house, and they all they made TikTok videos with Ice Spice. They posted a string of videos with her. Ice Spice also posted her own videos, and Kim and Ice Spice took a selfie together. So clearly Kim approves of what's going on here and was involved in planning it. And I
like how the fridge is just Eggo waffles and alcohol. Like that's my favorite part of this. It's literally it looks like
they're like gigantic
Cristal and Eggo waffles. A house after my own heart. If it was 2007.
So they have waffles for the kids and liquor for the adults.
The on the left looks like cheese on the second shelf, Eggo's on the top shelf, and then like some type of like ready to make meal on the bottom one. Like that doesn't look like
celebrity fridges are.
That doesn't look like a billionaire's fridge to me. I'm granted they probably have like 30,000 of them in that house.
Yeah.
But like that's a very sad
Kim
rich person shelf.
Posted the Beyond Meat campaign, and she actually tried to get us to believe she feeds her children Beyond Meat nuggets for their snacks. Like I'm sorry.
Didn't we make fun of the fact that she never actually eats it?
Of course. She's like chewing something, but there's no bite mark on the burger. Anyway, so she's posting all these TikToks with Ice Spice, lip syncing to Ice Spice's songs, specifically this feature she just did on a song called Boy's a Liar. And I'm gonna literally go like full Ben Shapiro mode, like Ben Shapiro saying, what ass P word? But she says, bet he blow in her back thinking about me because he know that it's fat. And she's lip syncing to this with grade schoolers.
Totally normal. What celebrity doesn't think that that's normal? And then Mary, you are the weirdo for not thinking that's normal. You're the bad guy.
Right, and everyone is posting these videos saying, oh, this is so cute. I love this like random link up that they did totally for fun and nobody got any transactional benefit
That's what I'm saying.
out of
Like the internet is fake. Everything is fake.
and
Nothing
people
is
are
real
stupid
anymore.
and
Yes.
gullible for even believing that this was like done out of the kindness of her own heart.
Okay, just think about this. These are people with like armed security where every second of their day is planned and structured. You don't just, it's not like she was, Ice Spice was just in her car driving by Kim
Decided to
Kardashian's
stop
house
by.
and decided to stop by. That's not a real thing. That's
that
fake.
will get you shot.
Yes,
Probably.
it will. So the idea that these things just randomly happen, like, oh my God, it's the collaboration that I didn't know I needed. No, it's the collaboration that some marketing genius knew that you
it's
needed.
so iconic.
Yeah.
It's so iconic. Like my favorite
Yep.
female rapper.
Yeah.
Who raps about sex and her body all the time.
Hanging out with a 9-year-old.
Is hanging out with my favorite celebrity child.
Groomers.
I mean, you could call it grooming. You could call it that.
It's at the very least, it's weird.
It's getting there. It's like towing the line. And of course, like it's up to North's parents what music she is allowed to listen to or who she is allowed to hang out with, obviously. But should she be permitted to post videos of herself with these people making these sexual references that maybe she doesn't understand the context for before she grasps the consequences of doing that? I don't think so.
When I was very young, I'm going to tell a story here. When I was very
Okay.
young, the very first time I saw the movie Major League 2, there's this hilarious line where Rick the Wild Thing Vaughn is pitching to Jack Parkman, and he has this gimmick in Major League 2 where he names his pitches. He's like the Exterminator, they all have names, and he goes, here's my new pitch. If you get a piece of it, you can rename it. And the dude hits a home run with it and calls it the Masturbator. And like, I was young and didn't understand what that meant at the
Okay.
time. And I'm getting the feeling that that's probably in a lot of ways maybe what happens with like a 9-year-old kid not getting it entirely.
But if she has unrestricted access to TikTok,
Yeah.
maybe she does know that. I don't know. I just saw this
yeah,
meme.
life was different when I was.
Well, it
when I was
wasn't really a
younger.
meme, but this viral tweet the other day where someone was saying, oh, look at these texts between my 9-year-old cousin and his GF. And he's literally talking about like blowing her back out and stuff like that. Like, you don't even know what that means.
Nope.
But if you do, I'm really worried about you.
And to be fair,
And everyone was just laughing about it like it was normal. Like, this isn't normal.
And this is a shared account that she shared. It's
called Kim and North.
That shares
Yeah.
with mom. So this is mom's fault.
It says managed by an adult in the bio, yet countless times North has posted videos on this account and then promptly had them deleted, probably because her mom realizes that she's like posting things that just should not be on the internet.
Cooler if North is like already like a prodigy hacker and just like cloned the phone and got a new one.
She's definitely like got her dad's sense of humor.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
she's funny and clever. And like she is talented. Like she makes cool art and stuff like that. But I just think like it's better for you to enjoy things about your kid, not for the world to enjoy these things about your kid's
Do they go to
personality, you know?
school?
Like it's
Do
no
they-
one's business.
Do the kids go to school?
Yeah, she goes to Sierra Canyon, notably against Kanye's wishes. He wanted her to go to Donda.
Well,
I don't know the state of Donda Academy and like what's happening
I would
there.
really like to go to Donda Academy. That's where I'm going to college next.
I don't know if they're still like functional. I'll have to find an update on that.
Yep.
But anyway, so this is making me revisit Kanye's vocal objections to North being on TikTok in the first place.
Absolutely.
And it seems like Kim has used TikTok as like a weapon against him. Not as like, oh, I just want our kid to enjoy this thing under supervision. Like she's using it as a power play. So Kanye said on Instagram last year, I told Kim to stop antagonizing me with this TikTok thing. I am her father. I know that y'all don't respect fathers and the idea of family, and the media pushes a narrative. I'm not allowing my daughter to be used by TikTok, to be used by Disney. I have a say-so. And in another interview last year, he said, tell Kim, don't have my daughter wearing lipstick on TikTok, and don't have her on TikTok at all if I don't approve that. And I said, after it was done without me knowing, and it happened again. So Kim is just...
She's kind of evil.
Obviously, she is deliberately going against what Kanye said and also trying to spin a narrative where he's crazy, he's overreacting. And even if you ostensibly think that the things Kanye says are crazy, this in particular, he is lucid, he's reasonable, his take makes total sense, and he should have a say-so in the exposure and access his kid has to social media.
There's a reason, like, we're going to look at social media in 10 to 15 years the way, like, you're giving kids access to a highly, highly addictive, it's just not a chemical, but it's creating chemicals, it's allowing chemicals in your brain to form and get you attached to, it's a dopamine hit every time you use it. And these kids are getting addicted to it very young. We don't have an excuse as adults. We allow ourselves on these apps. These kids can be prevented from, at the very least, like curbing it while they're young and not allowing them to get addicted to it in an age when their brain is even less developed. Like, what is it, 13? You're not allowed on these apps until you're over 13. Or something like that.
Technically, but
it's like
I guess technically, since Kim is the administrator of that account.
Believe it or not, when I was a child, I understood that if I was to go to a porn site, that all I had to do was hit yes, I am 18. Even a 17-year-old can figure that out. Like,
and there's also like this story about like Chicago or one of their kids playing Roblox and seeing some phishing ad for Kim's sex tape.
Which,
like,
to be fair,
are you paying attention to anything your kids are doing?
Like, I don't even know, like where is that still being advertised? Is it like some like vintage porn site?
Maybe she made it up. I have no idea. And also, people are mentioning Pete Davidson right now, and I did want to bring that up again.
He got in a car accident.
Like, allowing your new boyfriend post-divorce to be like tattooing your kids' names on his body, and also like merely 2 weeks after meeting North had her like sitting on his lap and stuff like that. It's insanely inappropriate.
Yeah.
Like crazily
inappropriate. And feels like
just
she doesn't have the best interest of the children at her heart.
Just seems like trying to one up your ex.
Yeah.
It just seems like trying to one up Kanye. And as many issues as he has, like, he has legitimate gripes with this.
Absolutely. And every parent has has a right to be upset about this, and then people dismiss him because he's Kanye. Like, he's not allowed to be, like, people who have, like, opinions that aren't the majority can also be very good parents, believe it or not. Like, you can have a couple of crazy ideas and still know what's best for your kids.
Yeah.
Like, and understand that TikTok is not safe for children.
Yeah. So
that social media isn't safe for children.
Further than that, it looks like now North is cosplaying as Ice Spice on her TikTok account. I just sent you the video, actually.
All right, let me grab it here.
But just like keep it on mute, because in all of these videos she's using Ice Spice's music.
All right, I'm gonna have to try to be like the fastest hands in the West here and try to mute this quickly as possible.
Right.
Give me 1 second.
She's dressing up as Ice Spice.
No. Okay.
You got it?
I don't know if I can mute TikTok.
You can?
There we go. All right, here we go. I bet you we end up getting copyright. Even for that, I bet you
it
we
was like
end up...
2 seconds. It's okay.
Let's take a look here.
She's wearing like the red afro and the juicy tracksuit and the bling on her neck. Might be the same one. And she's with her friend doing this. And like, she also brought another friend to like recreate one of her music videos with her. There are other videos. And they have
not a babysitter. Not a babysitter.
No one I would hire to babysit my children.
But I'm saying, not even about like her credentials. I'm just saying, not there as a babysitter, not there to hang out with Kim Kardashian. Why are you there?
It's a clout exchange.
Exactly. You've turned your kids into a commodity.
It's like you're throwing a duffel bag with a bunch of clout in it.
To be fair, I mean, they have done a very good job of commodifying their likenesses, right? So they're just getting the kids started young. Which is evil.
Gross. I think they especially start the daughters young. But anyway, like...
Well, yeah, like, how bad for those boys?
Oh, yeah, I mean...
Those guys are
I even
screwed.
remember Kim posted this text message exchange she had with Mason Disick, her young nephew, who's like 12, where Mason is saying, like, I think that you need to pay closer attention to North's TikTok account, because this isn't good. And she like joked about it, calling him like insightful king or whatever. But like, actually though, like pay attention to what's going on, because then a bunch of these videos where North was dressed up as Ice Spice got hastily deleted from the account, likely because Kim found out about them and found out that they were inappropriate, and she was lip syncing all of these inappropriate adult lyrics.
It's got to be like, to be Kim Kardashian, where every facet of your life, your family, your own personal likeness, everything you say, everything your kids say and do is something that is both monetizable but also up for intense scrutiny. I bet you it is a very, very like anxiety riddled life.
Yeah, I'm sure, but she's also hyper competent and almost like psychotically.
But she did it to herself. She did it to herself. Like, this is her own fault.
Yeah, and also like I think bringing up your children in that tradition, like family tradition of selling your likeness, is not excusable either. But yeah, she's like, I think too shrewd for her own good.
Also, let's just talk just for a quick, like, this would is this something that could go the other way? Like, does like one of the boys get to hang out with like a 23-year-old rapper, I guess? Like,
I mean, when they date those rappers, yeah.
But like, no, I'm saying like how old is Chicago?
I think like 6 maybe. Okay. I don't remember.
When 9, does he get to hang out with Kodak Black?
Yeah, good question.
That's I don't know why I thought of Kodak, but he was in the news again recently because they had to like put a Herculean effort to like keep him sober through like a festival at the weekend, and now he's going to rehab. So get cool. Clean, Kodak Black. I'm pulling for you, my man.
He had just like gotten out of jail, right?
Yeah. I'm
well,
very.
There's an obvious like double standard here, and because it's lucrative to let your kid hang out with someone who happens to have their name in trending right now, you'll do it. Like,
I don't understand.
It's an extremely cynical move.
And the whole thing is cynical. To monetize your children is cynical. To monetize every aspect of your life is cynical. But these kids are going to grow up with it, and they're in a way being groomed into it, and they will never know another life anyways. This will be who they are forever. And
people are saying like, oh, this is nothing new. Don't you remember like growing up dancing to Destiny's Child? And
yeah, but they weren't there.
But you weren't posting it on a platform for millions of people to see and scrutinize and sexualize. Like, you don't know the creeps who are on the internet. Literally anyone can see that.
Yep.
And all of those videos that you just deleted are still immortalized forever.
I don't even know where they like what if these kids decide later they want a private life? They're too young to understand that now. They very much could have a change of heart when they hit 13, 14, 15 years old and decide, I don't want to be in the public eye.
Which means Kanye has been totally vindicated.
And he's, at the very least, seems to be thinking farther ahead in that respect. Like,
I don't know how, as Kim Kardashian, being as aware as she is of what the being in the public eye means and like what creating a personal brand means, how you could play dumb that you don't understand the stakes of letting your child use TikTok unsupervised.
But she may simply see it as like she just can't imagine not having that life or not wanting that life, so she can't imagine her kids not wanting it.
I think she's using it as a weapon against Kanye.
Okay.
I think that because Kanye has shown opposition to it, she will spitefully allow it.
Not good.
And if you're deleting these posts all the time that North is posting without permission, it's hard to say that this account is, quote, managed by an adult.
When does she have the time to manage it? She's like the busiest person ever. That doesn't make any sense.
Or if it's somebody else, I don't know, one of her nannies. But yeah, this is like clearly not acceptable.
We just got a screen. Somebody in the chat says screen capture video says, why was my sketch therapy account blocked? I was always in incognito window. What rule did I break? I've been super chatting for months. I'm no worse than anyone else here. I have not, or we have not.
I don't even know how to do that.
I wouldn't even know how to do that. So not me, man.
To block somebody or block them from chatting? I have no idea. It's probably YouTube.
If it's automated, I don't know, but that's not on our end. So
yeah.
All right, we got some super chats there.
Okay. Disco Jensen said, okay. I don't know what this means. M3 also brought on a noticeable decline in rom-com movies.
Scrolling back up
And
here.
the current dating climate in the West zapped the market for them too.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, there is no, like, it's so funny. Like, so many of the TV shows, like, one of the themes that seems to be, like, prevalent in, like, shows in the mid 2010s is, like, parents not understanding when the kids tell their parents, like, we don't date, we hang out in large groups. And the parents are like, I don't get it. Like, you didn't want a boyfriend or a girlfriend in high school. And they're like, no, we don't have boyfriends or girlfriends. We hang out in groups.
Well, I feel like that's what teenagers have always done. I mean, when my granny was telling me about what dating was like in high school, she said, like, we would go to, like, the A&W and, like, eat burgers and drink milkshakes. And
I
then
love
they
the
would start,
classic
like,
image of that.
But they literally,
Yeah.
it happened. And then she's like, oh, and then they, like, you know, drag race down the road and stuff. And she was 16 and had some, like, you know, upperclassman boyfriend at the time.
Yeah, but they had a boyfriend. Now they don't even claim to have boyfriends or
Or
girlfriends.
you go steady or whatever whatever it is. Like, kids have always, you know, hung out in groups to get to know each other rather than maybe traditional dating like adults would, but it's not nearly. It was just funny to me to hear that from her because it was just like, you literally lived the life of, like, Marty McFly's McFly's parents or whatever, you know.
My first girlfriend I met in high school, like through friends, I guess. Like, yeah, met at parties.
It's always
and
like
stuff
that,
that.
right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, at least not using Tinder.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. Like my first longer relationship I met on MySpace. Yes, indeed.
That's kind of funny.
And to be fair, was like way out of my league, so that was good on me. But, like, not sure if that would have.
But not long distance.
No.
Yeah.
Lived in like 20, 30 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, no, not long distance.
Isaac Martinez said, in general, everyone has the right to date whoever. Disagree.
I mean,
the word "right" literally means nothing anymore.
Well, they were talking about the trans, like, he kind of gets the point of what I was talking about in that like exchange I was having, or not that I was having, but that people were having under that video, was somebody basically saying, like, you don't have a right to not date trans people. It was one of those.
Well, I feel like it was also saying you don't even have the right to disclose that you don't want to.
Yeah. Like,
even if you don't want to, you can't say so.
The person who said that also said that it's the same. He said it's the same behavior that racist people say use an excuse to say they don't want to date black people or something like that. It was a bonkers, insane, mentally ill.
The conflation between race and gender has been one of the most, like, mentally ill.
Oh yeah, it was pure mental illness.
Parts of wokeness, because, like, obviously we're arguing that they want gender to not be a binary anymore to compare it to race.
Absolutely.
Because race is not a binary. Like, if you're born to a male and a female, it doesn't make you 50% male and 50% female.
Yeah.
It's not like being born to people of, like, a mixed race couple.
It's also funny considering that thing. Like, they get very upset at the idea of transracialism.
Like, race is a spectrum.
Yeah, they get
gender is not.
They get very angry when you point out that transracialism would make more sense than transgenderism.
It literally would. Also, like, they want to make race into more of a binary than it is, aka white and not white, and they want, which is kind of insulting as well, but then they want gender to be the spectrum, and it's just completely flipping everything on its head.
Yep.
Doesn't make any sense.
And then the people who are mixed race end up being the ones who get, like, I feel the worst for them because they're caught between two worlds a lot of the time. Like, somebody born, they're like, okay, I have a very good friend who has she has mixed race kids, right? One of them looks more Hispanic and the other one looks more white, and the one that looks more white is suffering more in the world now because of how he's being treated at schools.
Yeah.
That's awful. That's messed up.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the pull of what that's doing to the
And you're
world.
also expected to, like, pick which side of you has, like, carries more weight.
That's disgusting. I feel awful for them.
Bert Fag said this generation has normalized those on the Jerry Springer show.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, I suppose that's kind of like everything we see now. All those people who make those insane TikToks or those insane posts on Instagram, they would have just been Jerry Springer. Like, who doesn't love watching this stuff where it's like, you are not the father and the guys get up and dance? I still love watching those supercuts from time to time. It's trashy, but it makes me laugh. And I can't know 110% how real any of that was. I'm assuming some of it is played up, but it makes me giggle.
I'm assuming some of it is, or maybe most of it is scripted, because I saw like Tana Mojo on Jerry Springer one time with Elijah and Christine, and it was like a fake love triangle thing.
I think we almost covered at one point a topic where it was like Jerry Springer apologized for like like he's like, this is kind of my fault.
He's like, oh no, what have I done?
He's like,
to
sorry,
society?
I ruined the world.
No, you just made money off of the world already being ruined.
Nothing wrong with Jerry, man. Jerry was great.
Ryan said they made a rom-com of a boy and a girl that live next to each other, and the girl is an OF girl called Rent a Girlfriend, and it just got picked up for a 3rd season. It's an anime, but it exists.
See, they can do it with just about anything, man.
I didn't know there was like rom-com anime shows.
Mary's like, sign me up. I'll finally do the anime thing.
Fear Me It's Bree said Pride and Prejudice, but it's about a pride activist and a prejudiced MAGA Trump supporter.
Oh my
would
God.
be an interesting rom-com. Oh yes, it would.
Pride and activist would be an amazing.
But the pride activist or whoever the activist is has to be the woman.
Yes.
Because you can't. It doesn't work the other way around. You know.
I'm so down for this.
Conservative chicks aren't interested in liberal guys, but conservative guys are interested in liberal chicks.
Yeah.
Because I guess the women are more ideologically malleable.
And you don't have a choice in today's day and age because literally 80% of the Western women are liberal, at the very least.
I mean, even 80% of the men are liberal. 90% of the women are liberal, if not more.
Like even today, like so much of it is like, there is no such thing, to me, in my opinion anymore. This is a bit of a hot take. Like even the trad idea is still a girl boss thing because they're wearing it like a costume a lot of the time. Like I'm trad when I make my videos in my flower dress on Instagram that's monetized on my monetized social media platforms.
Yeah.
It's still a girl boss persona.
With my sausage curls in my hair. Trying to look like Marilyn Monroe, who was not trad, by the way.
Yeah, well, it's like, but it's like, that's the thing where it's like everything's a costume in a way now because everything's being exported outwards and you have to be the biggest version of it you can be so that it stands out on social media.
Mm-hmm. Steve Ryman said, what we need is a Bollywood rom-com along the lines of You've Got Mail titled Send Bob. A modern tale for a modern audience. That is all.
Look, should I get into Bollywood? Like maybe that's my next genre. Like everyone's like, watch anime, read manga. I'm like, I'm going Bollywood.
I would like for you to have a Bollywood phase. That would be funny.
I'm in my Bollywood era.
Just start with triple R.
As far as I know, all the women in Bollywood are just smoking hot. So
why isn't Priyanka Chopra over there?
Dude, she started in Bollywood, I believe.
She doesn't want to be in Bollywood anymore.
And she is
thinks she's too good for that.
She is smoking hot. Like one of the like the earlier signs that I had that like Hollywood was as behind the times as they are was look at the hold on, I'm going to PTZ. The bill. Oh, you can't tell. The bill got stuck in the headset on those headphones.
Oh, I see it.
Was in when Priyanka Chopra started on Quantico, which I loved that first season of Quantico, even though it's ridiculous and over the top, is they're like talking about how she gets misconstrued for a terrorist and
thank you.
I love it.
What is your favorite scary movie?
Do you have a favorite scary movie?
Maybe.
Everybody's a suspect. I do love that first Scream movie. So like
I've become more like psychologically fragile, so I don't know if I'm capable of watching scary movies that often, but I like Devil.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Exorcist was good as well.
For me it was slashers were more my realm, because that was just like I was talking to somebody last night on, like, somebody posted on Twitter about how they were listening to the song "Youth of America" by Birdbrain, and I'm like, holy freaking crap, that is from the Scream 1 soundtrack. I love that song. And she was like, I'm literally listening to the Scream 1 soundtrack right now. I'm like, I literally thought I was the only person in the world who liked that song. Incredible.
How many Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies were there? Like,
I mean,
a lot.
A bunch of remakes.
Were there?
Or there was like one remake and a couple of sequels, right? Those weren't mine. Those weren't mine to watch. I
watched one of those because one of my friends made me watch it, and it was just the most boring thing ever. Yeah. Like, I guess the pacing was just different for a different, like, time in our culture when people were more... Yeah. I don't know, patient or less desensitized.
Now the violence comes hard and fast and stays for the whole.
It was also kind of psychosexual. Like, he like points the chainsaw at her crotch at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was weird.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, using a chainsaw is like, it's absolutely like it's like phallic in its nature just by the design of it. So
I guess so.
Let's do one more.
Jimmy Bags said, thoughts on the upcoming Super Mario movie. Princess Peach is gonna be a girl boss.
But what if she becomes a trad girl boss and gives up her princess status for the prince that she loves or something like that?
I think that it's going to be relatively inoffensive, and I think people are kind of like hoping almost for Princess Peach to be more annoying than she will be.
As long as John Leguizamo's not happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, that's a good rule to live by.
If it upsets John Leguizamo, I'm okay with it.
You're probably doing something right.
Well, to be fair, I do love him in the John Wick movies. He's still trying to live down playing that character in Spawn, though. So, all right, we will save the rest and we will come back. All right, guys. So, Donnie Yen. We talked about Donnie Yen just last week. He got very mad at the makers of John Wick. Go figure. There's your John Wick mention right again. Because there was Asian stereotypes. He was going to be named Chang, and they changed his name to Kane, right? Was that what it was? To Kane?
Yeah, it was Chang or Shang or something like that, and he had a huge problem with it, so they had to change it to Kane.
Because he didn't like the Asian stereotypes. Well, now he has upset a bunch of other people because there is a 60,000 plus signature petition to get him ousted from his presenter role at the Oscars due to his connection to the Chinese Communist Party and his loyalty to the supreme leader, Xi Jinping.
Who could have guessed that the CCP sympathizer in Hollywood would want his wardrobe and name changed in an action movie so that he appears less Chinese? He's trying to hide that he is Chinese and that he has a certain agenda.
Most of his roles are still Hong Kong films.
He literally wanted his character to be completely westernized in both his name and his dress.
But he didn't grow up. He was born in China. He was raised. He spent his first 11 years near Hong Kong. Then he moved to Boston.
I was treated so much better in the Chinese entertainment industry, and when I came to Hollywood they started typecasting me and stereotyping me and wah like not recognizing that the Chinese entertainment industry is completely racially and culturally homogenized. And that's fine. We're not saying that there's a problem with that, but he wants to come over to the West and tell us how we're supposed to do diversity, right?
Yes, he is.
Like middle fingers up, dude. Yep. I don't care.
I also love the idea that a man who doesn't like being stereotyped lists his mother's profession as kung fu master, which is maybe
literally. Could you be more Chinese, dude? It's ironic.
But he's apparently an extremely gifted martial artist, 6th-degree black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, holds multiple belts.
Don't F with him.
Yeah, don't mess with the dude. But apparently, don't upset him either because he's gonna whine and complain and talk your ear off. Who needs to beat you up when he can just cry until you just give up and tap out?
He'll just do so many interviews.
Like he's not actually gonna be mad. Like he's not gonna beat you up. He's just gonna whine until you finally just tap out.
He uses the weapon of the mass media against you rather than his fists.
And the other thing about it is okay, so this is a 60,000 signature group to get him removed from the Oscars as a presenter because of his pro-Chinese connections to the Chinese Communist Party. Look, if we're going to do this, Mary, we talk a lot about selective outrage. If you're going to get rid of all of the Chinese influence on Hollywood, you got a long way to go, my friend.
He was in Rogue One and Mulan as well. So he's, beloved at Disney. Which just goes to show, if a mega corporation from America like Disney, a hyper-capitalist one, of course, can get along just fine with the CCP, overlook the Uyghur concentration camps,
as in Mulan,
then really all of the differences between modern CCP communism and American westernized hypercapitalism, the differences are purely cosmetic.
I love it when
there's no actual difference between their interests. They work together.
Let's just talk about a few off the top of my head. That I was just like, okay, if we were going to get rid of all of the Chinese influence, okay, Jackie Chan, he's got to go. He's a big CCP shill. He loves China. John Cena, ousted. You're gone. Just off the top of my head, Tencent Productions, the Huai brothers, and what was the other? Oh, Shanghai Picture Group, right? So I was like, okay, like those were the three studios that came to mind right off the top of my head. I was like, what are some movies that we would have to get rid of right off the top of my head? So Peppermint, 21 Bridges, Warcraft, The Free State of Jones, hundreds of movies. Wonder Woman got financing from China. Like hundreds of movies would be gone because you think that you're going to get rid of the Chinese influence. It's never going away. Kong, Skull Island, Warcraft. Warcraft was funded by 2 Chinese companies. Moonfall, 2 Chinese companies.
And this is why
Bumblebee, Venom.
You're also never going to escape the controversy that comes from any casting actors or actresses who have anything remotely on their record saying things against the CCP. So Chloe
Zhao, who got ousted from China, and then they got no Chinese release for the Eternals because she was Simu Liu.
Or how about Black Adam with Pierce Brosnan?
From the 70s.
Having some tangentially relevant connection to Tibet.
In the 70s or the 80s.
In the 70s, right? Because he's ancient.
It was literally a black and white photo.
You're not going to escape these, blunders because it's about shared business interests. It's barely political,
and there's too much money to be made.
They're aligned. That's it. And any of the values that they claim to have about reimagining tomorrow or whatever the hell they're trying to sell you on inclusion and acceptance and tolerance, they're saying tolerance because they're willing to tolerate the evils that are committed by a regime like the CCP. It's just it's a fact. They don't have values other than that.
He's most known for Rogue One, which is the only good new Star Wars movie there is, so that's too bad.
It was whatever, but
the most inoffensive of the new Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
Rogue One. So look,
in terms of
is there any? There's no Jackie Chan is still widely popular here, and he's very pro-China, and a lot of these people spoke out heavily during the 2019 Hong Kong protests. The one time in my life, I had a shirt that said freedom for Hong Kong.
I wish that people could interpret geopolitical conflicts in a way that's not made into something bite size and understandable for Western liberals.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what the whole Hong Kong thing in 2019 was about, is using Western liberals and their social media posts because they're ignorant of the actual situation.
Yeah. And for these production companies, it ends up being relevant to casting and how things get made in Hollywood. For instance, there is
budgeting.
And budgeting. But there's in the movie Moonfall, which I love because it's awful. It's so bad, it's good. There is an inexplicably placed Mandarin speaking nanny that's would never have been in that movie if it wasn't for the fact that it was produced by China.
I know that Knock at the Cabin wouldn't get a Chinese release just because they're gay, right?
Probably.
The couple is gay.
Very
But
probably.
they also like were shown duping a Chinese adoption agency.
Oh yeah.
Movie.
Then they're definitely not getting a Chinese
So
release
they probably knew that because the couple is gay, then they're able to also add that, right?
It's a bummer too, because that little girl was like her first interaction with Batista in that movie is like the one part I liked about that movie.
I mean, you definitely can't acknowledge the fact that China has like a huge problem of like abandoned children and like almost something similar to a caste system, because that girl she was in an adoption agency because she had a cleft lip, I believe.
Yeah. So here's the petition. I'm just going to read the petition that they put through. So it says, "We, a group of people from Hong Kong, are writing to express our concern about your decision to invite an actor who supports the Chinese Communist Party's violation of human rights. Donnie Yen is a presenter to the Oscars. As a global recognized film award, the Oscars should represent respect for human rights and moral values rather than support for actions that violate them." Well, Hollywood has never been one to both do what they say, to actually stand by their words. They're known to say one thing and do another.
That like the Oscars don't have moral values.
No, they do not.
The Academy doesn't have values at all.
No.
Other than what looks good for them. If they decide to change anything or ban anyone because of this petition, it's not because they have values. It's just because they believe that it's what is most wise to do in terms of public relations to Western people.
It says that he also he was very supportive of the implementation of the national security law in Hong Kong and accusing Hong Kong protesters of being rioters back then. And they said that he's an unabashed supporter of Xi Jinping. It says that in 2017 he gave up his U.S. citizenship and reportedly said that he is 100% Chinese. I love, like, we are so inclusive. We are so inclusive here in America. This is one of the most infuriating things about it is it's literally a bunch of crybabies who come to the freest and most prosperous place in the world where you are accepted almost full. You come here and people are like, I don't like it here. And we're like, we'll take you anyway. We love you anyways. And somehow
like,
we're
we don't
always
like it
the
here.
bad guys.
They say we don't like it here for this reason and that reason. And we're like, we agree with you.
And we're still the bad guys.
Right.
It's
every time.
infuriating.
I mean, the audacity of someone like Donnie Yen to renounce any like citizenship here, but then also talk about like the ways that we're responsible for making him feel welcome and like he's just like one of us, when he's decidedly
not
separated himself. He's drawn a very clear line between his identity and ours.
Yep.
Why would you want to, feel like you have assimilated when it's your explicit choice not to?
Yeah.
Why would we treat you like an American when we have explicitly decided not to be adopted into this culture?
We have an extreme culture of guilt and fear of being seen as anything less than perfectly welcoming, and it's turned America into a doormat.
Totally, yeah. I mean, I hate the self-flagellation that Hollywood already engages in.
Yep.
And he is using that cynically against them because, obviously he doesn't actually care about inclusion, diversity, equity, blah, blah, blah. Because if he's praising China, then
they're not diverse, they're not inclusive, and they're not equitable.
Whereas the racial diversity, where's the representation for like LGBT people in their movies or entertainment? Or even like they like ban attire that is like deemed effeminate for men in their society. Like it's not
men are not allowed to be. They're not allowing men to be effeminate
system
anymore.
Yeah, like they just don't. And that's honestly what I'm saying is, like, from my perspective is like there are some things about that system that are preferable to ours. Yeah. But don't try to dictate to us about how to best follow our rules.
You shouldn't even be allowed to make
You're
movies
lucky to
here.
even be able to make money off of this market. Yeah. You are not entitled to even be here.
we take
to even work here.
We take the process of gaining citizenship in this country very seriously, meaning that like you have to pass a test that shows that you are in line with American values, right? Isn't giving up the citizenship, like the act of actively giving up the citizenship, a sign that you are going against our values in a lot of ways?
Well, it's not even just that he doesn't want to be a citizen. It's that like as a resident just a temporary resident, he's going to raise as much of a fuss as possible while he's here.
He's going to cause as
just
much
so
division.
that we know how inferior we are.
And he's going to give as much, and he's going to cause as much division.
Cynically using our obsession with altruism against us, which we should be, kind of brushing off anyway.
Yep.
But he's using that because he knows how Hollywood works. But he's not going to abide by those same guidelines himself. I'm just riffing here, but remember when Xi Jinping banned any comparison of him to Winnie the Pooh?
Winnie the Pooh, yep.
And now
they should make
Donnie Yen is now part of Disney in the cinematic universe of Disney, which has now put Winnie the Pooh into the public domain.
He should do
Coincidence?
his own version of...
I think not.
They should do their own version of Blood and Honey. They're starring Xi Jinping, where he's just Winnie the Pooh.
I mean, we still let him win in the end in
Blood
and Honey.
He definitely does not lose. That is for sure. So that
maybe that was actually just a geopolitical commentary.
That's him under the mask. That's Xi Jinping.
It was Xi the whole time.
Then who was it playing? Was the other one Eeyore? No, Eeyore's the one that dies at the beginning.
Eeyore was already dead at the beginning because they ate him. Piglet was already...
Piglet, yeah. Okay, no,
he was the sidekick.
Eeyore was the impetus for all of the problems because they had to eat Eeyore to survive.
Yeah. I saw this other quote, by the way, that I wanted to mention from Donnie Yen, where he says that he... In entertainment, in Hollywood, he wants to convey the spirit of China and the story of China to the world through action movies. So I would love to hear how he is planning to do that with his part in John Wick 4.
Also, how is that not some type of stereotype?
It doesn't seem like it's very consistent with his supposed desire to, not be typecasted as a typical Chinese guy named Shang or whatever.
Yeah. It's the hypocrisy for me. I can't stand the hypocrisy. So, all right, we got some super chats there.
Yes. Bert Feg said, thanks much for yesterday's I don't know what dink means MP3. Mary, it shall be used daily via text.
What did it stand for again?
It's disposable income, no kids. Or no, double income, no kids, or something like that.
Or maybe both. Maybe disposable income, no kids, or double income. So a married couple but with no children.
Or maybe they're not married. I don't know. Yeah. Corey Bolig said, I like PCC.
Very much better than CCP.
You like PCC, not the CCP.
Yep.
Disco Jensen said, celebrities and their offspring live in a parallel reality where consequences can be paid away and memory hold by the public at large.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing about it is literally so much happens to these people and there's so many articles written about them that the bad stuff just ends up on page 5 of their search history, so it doesn't end up mattering. Unless the media decides heavily to focus on something, everything just ends up getting memory hold.
If Kim decides that she doesn't want people to talk about North and Ice Spice anymore, she'll just do something else in the public eye and people will talk about that instead.
What did we say? We thought she did that one time where we thought she announced her relationship. Yeah, she announced her relationship with Pete Davidson at the most opportune time to change the narrative around whatever was going around. And it worked because I don't even remember what the hell it was that was. Oh no, it was after her comments about you need to just work harder.
Yes.
And everyone was mad because she told people they need to work harder. And then she's like, oh my God, people are mad at me. I'm in a relationship with Pete Davidson. And then poof, everything changed. Suddenly the headlines were different.
Big Dave said Vera Dark was an excellent guest. She needs to be on again.
That is a fantastic idea.
Good idea.
That is a very, very good idea.
Wink wonk. It's over 9,000 said, I didn't get my first cell phone until I was 13, didn't create a social media account until I was 16, and didn't get my first iPhone until I was 20. I will raise my future children in a similar manner.
That's a very good idea. How old were you when you got your first phone?
I got an iPod Touch before I got a smartphone. Mm-hmm. So it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
I think I was 10 when I got an iPod Touch.
I didn't literally there were no smartphones when I got I literally had a flip phone first. So that was a thing.
I think I got my first iPhone when I was 13.
I was I would have been 2011, so yeah, longer.
I really envy
no,
you.
no,
I really
It would
do.
have been 2009.
I mean, I do remember having a flip phone when I was like really young.
It didn't even matter because the internet was so bad on those old, like on the 3G. It's not like you were using the internet heavily on the
Wait, what?
like the internet on like on the iPhone 3.
Oh no, my first iPhone was an iPhone 5.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying like when the one I had like back then was like it's not
but
like you
yours
were
was,
using
like, kind of a shitter.
Yeah. Well,
But like I love the look of them. They're so like chubby and like little like cute looking phones, and now we have like these giant flat screen TVs. I just hate them.
Well, it was like the old iMacs that had the blue or the
What happened to making tech look like
adorable, Mary? When tech was adorable?
Like it's part of your home,
Yeah.
you know? Like I don't know, it's just not like a giant TV that you carry in your pocket.
It's so funny. Like I have a picture.
It's so derpy. Like
I have a picture of like a girl that I was dating at the time holding up a big Dell phone, and everyone's laughing. It's like nobody will ever want something this cumbersome and oversized. And it's like
wait until you
it's
get
like
to 2023.
Yeah, like it's like now the phones are bigger than that, and everyone's like,
and we thought that the iPhone 5 was huge.
yeah.
Then they just kept going larger and larger. Like, why?
Now the iPhone
Why?
5 is just the iPhone SE or whatever it was, whatever it
There was
became.
never any need
Yeah.
for it to be larger than that. Like, you have a TV.
However, I never got to have a T-Mobile Sidekick, and I do regret that. I always wanted a Sidekick so that I could have AOL
I
Instant
love
Messenger
that.
on it. Via HipTop shows up every
I should
time
go on
someone-
eBay and get that.
You can still find them. I don't remember what show I was watching recently. If it was Everwood or some like some old show, and like one of the characters has a sidekick, and I'm like, this is such a vibe.
Yeah. Like in when we watched Gossip Girl over the years from like 2007 to I think like 2013 is when they ended it. You see them go through all the phones.
I love it.
And all the phones just look the same now. That won't happen anymore. We don't have an evolution of what they look like.
I do want a Z Fold. I'll never spend the money.
Oh, the
on it.
Motorola one?
No, the Samsung one.
Okay.
Like I'm never gonna spend the money on it. It's cumbersome.
I think that the Motorola one is just like kind of gimmicky and fun because it goes like actually vertically folded
no, I want the
instead
one
of
that
the horizontal.
I want the one that opens this way, but it's too expensive. I'm not gonna spend the money on that.
That's lame. Steve Ryman said, "Stay calm, sketch therapy. I'm also prevented from the chat. Probably the Bollywood joke. Give it a few days to a week in timeout. That is all." That's crazy that they'll time you out for us. Like we didn't do that.
Yeah, who is timing you out?
I guess just the YouTube algorithm
is like
catches things.
Susan Wojcicki on her way out was just like,
she's just like
middle fingers up, like I don't like any of you guys. Bite me.
Like before she left, she was just like, make sure you hold down that pop culture crisis.
She's like, I don't like those people.
Make sure their super chatters can't say
that could maybe
say.
that's why right now.
It's her personal.
We're
fault.
like we would like to grow, and she's like, not on my watch.
Yeah. Sketch Therapy sent $1 without a message though.
People are like
he's able to do that.
People are like sending super chats, and it's just saying no. It's like no, I'm sorry.
It says Susan says no.
Susan says no, can't have any.
Greg Duvier said rom-com idea: girl catfishes guy, and they fall in love at the end. I mean,
does she lose the weight?
Maybe. Okay, that situation would be like, it's a hot girl who doesn't know that she's hot, so that she like catfishes guys because she thinks she's ugly.
So it's really a statement on body dysmorphia.
I don't know.
Like
she can't actually be ugly and a bad person.
Like,
then you just don't want them to fall in love at the end.
Maybe the idea is like, or maybe they're both ugly and they get into shape together and they become hot together. We're still shallow.
I'm sure there have been some happy couples that came out of MTV's Catfish.
Must have, at least a couple.
At some point. Tacti Platty said, Brett, was that GF an 11? Bro, you're a solid 8.
She was no,
don't say she was 11. Say she out
good.
of 10.
She was good.
Rate an 11, not 11 years old.
She was well, he says Anne, not
yes.
Yeah. She was good looking. She's a good looking lady.
Sketch Therapy said, "Hey chat, algorithm is evil, but our hosts are kind."
It does feel lately as if algorithm is like out to get us sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's do one more, and then we will move on.
Potatoes for Seamus said, just popped in to give you money. Have a great day.
Thank you, Seamus.
Thank you.
All right.
Potatoes.
Guys, before we move on, can you hit the like button? Can you subscribe to this channel? If you have not done so already, it would help us out greatly. Turn the notification bell on. I never mentioned that one. Apparently, the notification bell one works well for some people. I have all notifications on my phone muted, so I get no notifications on anything.
It's funny because even if you hit the notification bell, it will only give you notifications for select things.
Yeah.
But at least you'll then be notified most of the time when we go live.
Yeah. So please do that. Share this video with your friends so they can come in and hang out with us. That would be fantastic. We want more people here hanging out when we do these live streams. So, all right, we are moving on. What do we got next, Mary?
The watermelon sugar terrorist is at it again.
Is that his real name?
Yeah.
If he was
in my mind,
if this was a Netflix documentary, that would be his name when we finally bring him to justice.
The watermelon sugar killer.
Yes.
Harry Styles recently helped one of his young fans at a concert come out to their parents. I guess this was a girl coming out as a lesbian. I mean, you can surmise that, but who knows what you're coming out as these days? It could be a different species, or maybe you came out as a plant.
Yep.
So he stopped this concert that he was doing in Melbourne because this girl held up a sign that said, "Help me come out to my parents," and said she's sitting next to her mom, and her dad, suspiciously, is sitting in a different section of the arena. So take what you will from that. Harry takes notice of this sign. He pauses the entire show just to shout out this girl and her sign. And
she's probably not even gay. It's probably just a way to get
just
attention.
wants Harry Styles to notice her.
It kind of
that means you're straight if you're into Harry Styles.
It's giving that trend for a while when people were getting sick at shows and they would all stop their concerts to virtue signal.
Or if somebody would like pretend to get trampled, then they would be like, "Stop it right now!"
After
someone is in trouble.
After Astroworld, everyone was like stopping their concerts. Like, oh my god, they look like. Someone's like, oh my god, I love Harry Styles. Like, they're having a heart attack.
Or even
Stop!
like Billie Eilish would stop her shows if someone was like pretending to have a panic attack.
That's what I'm talking
which is
about,
like
Billie
not
Eilish.
an emergency at all.
Yeah.
But let's just like play the video here of him shouting out this fan and see what you guys think. Is this kind of an example of grooming?
Let's find out.
How do you spell that? Lovely. I've never heard that before. Fauve. Would you like me to read this out, Fauve?
Is it Fauvist in art style?
You seem nervous.
I don't
Are you
know.
ready? Don't have to.
The virtue signaling. You don't have to
Fauve
come out if
says,
it's not the right
Help
time.
me come out. My mum's next to me.
But isn't it like by your mom being next to you while you hold up the sign
You
coming out?
brought this gigantic piece of poster board with you while both of your parents were walking with
We'll
you.
find out later that the mom helped her make the sign.
Right, like what's going on here?
What does this sign mean, honey?
Dad is level 2, section 41.
The dad isn't sitting with
I feel
her.
like I could help.
How's her relationship with your
I
father?
feel like she might know. No, I mean,
You are at a Harry
said
Styles
it's on the
concert.
screen.
That's a girl, though.
But
So.
would you like us to
His
go through our love
outfit
on
is
tour
just
coming out process?
atrocious.
Can I get
The
some coming
rhinestone
out
shirt and
music?
the pleather pants.
I'm as you know, I'm very much anti-statist, but those pants should be punishable by law.
I'm uncomfortable just looking at them.
Yes.
They're playing coming out music.
Are we coming out like that?
Whatever that means.
Okay,
This is
here
what
we
it
come.
sounds like to come out.
Can I get some sparkles, please?
Oh, some sparkles.
We Libby Emmons was on IRL one night. You might have even been on this episode where they were talking about how there are no like American rituals anymore. All there is now is like coming out to your parents.
Coming out is your
Like that's the
tradition, or your coming of age is what she was
You're
meaning.
not
Like,
allowed to have like traditional coming of age
Yeah.
in America because that's sexist, misogynist.
you don't have debutante balls.
Nope.
You don't have, boys
You can't have Sadie Hawkins dances
hunting
or dances
or fishing.
Or anything. You can't have prom kings and queens because those are binaries. That's king and queen. That's not allowed. All you have now is, hey mom, hey dad, I'm going to Harry Styles concert. Will you come with me so I can tell you that I'm gay?
He starts using very like cultish language later in this video. Let's continue. And he's so excited because he knows this is going to get posted on Twitter where he can virtue signal about it, by the way. Like, he knows what's happening here.
Are you happy with the speed? You happy with the music? This suits the occasion? Okay.
It's a big occasion.
Come on, everybody. We're coming out tonight. Let's go.
Screams from hell.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go, let's go.
He's so insufferable.
It's done.
He's a showman. I'll give him that. He's a showman. He's annoying. But
Okay, wait. This last part is the creepiest.
And you rise to the heavens of freedom, foe. Enjoy yourself.
You rise to the heavens of freedom. The fact that anyone even thinks that, like, coming out as gay is a thing anymore is hilarious to me. Unless you're like Mormon or like intensely, like you're from some like religious fundamentalist family, coming out is not a thing.
Kind of have to come out as straight now.
Yeah, you have to
Mom,
reassure your parents that you still want to reproduce.
I like women.
Well, this was a girl, so I guess she.
I like boys.
I mean, the fact that most of Harry Styles' fans. The fact that most of Harry Styles' female fans are like lesbian or bisexual is just a testament to his lack of sex appeal as a man.
Yep.
But
somebody said
I feel like this is just showing people that if they use being gay as a vector for like, you know, getting attention, then it's going to work.
Yeah.
And it's like the easiest ploy that you can use to get attention.
And it's
quick, easy, cheap, costs $0 to come out as gay.
And you can just change your mind later.
Costs a lot of money to be in front row at Harry Styles concert, though.
You can just come. You can just change your mind later and become
exactly.
bisexual. Like I said, there's like 80%.
You don't need to prove it.
80% of the people in comics now are like bi because you can't prove otherwise. They're like
it's the
like
lowest effort way to insert yourself into a rung of oppression.
It's like there was a time in Hollywood back in the day where you had to like where like gay men who were action stars had to have like literal beards with them, like women who would be hired to go with them to movie premieres and stuff like that to fake it so that they could appear normal. Now you have to pretend to be gay to be the norm in Hollywood to get any sort of play. Harry Styles is straight. He's not gay. He just wears
pleather and rhinestones, so he kind of, as Maddie Healy said, gets like the N-word pass for the gay community, where he can, you know, kind of pretend to be one of them.
Or Taika Waititi makes his movies that all have tons of queer baiting in it.
Exactly, yeah.
And people want to pretend like this is somehow oppression. Now, no, this is the most common and the most socially acceptable form of status here in America now.
And now all of these comments are praising him, saying, you know, even if you don't care for his music, there's no denying he's a great person.
It's like the
good on you for giving back to the fans who support you. It's like giving them what?
It's like the Johnny Depp video. It's like these moments where he straightens.
Right, where he like he straightens Camille Vasquez's phone charger wire.
And they're like, he's such a gentleman.
Like, oh, he's like such a prime example of chivalry in our modern culture. Like, what are you talking about? He didn't do anything revolutionary.
Dude, the internet is breaking people's brains.
It really is. It's like, do you know what it is to like interact as a human being?
You know what I think it is? I think like when you're like, if you're like my age, like there are points like, have you ever seen those memes where it's like somebody shows you something really vulgar and you say, that's enough internet for today?
Yeah.
Like, I think there's like a cutoff. Like if you're my age, maybe even like at your age they have it. But as we get older, there will be no sense for a person to be like, that is enough interneting for me today. It is time to go touch some grass.
Oh my
like there are
gosh.
periods, and I'm not kidding you, like when I get done with work and I'm upstairs or like I'm on my phone and I'm in like I'll be up here, right? I'm done with work and I'm scrolling. I will eventually see something where I'm like, time to go skate. No more internet for me today. At the very least, I need 2 hours where I'm not looking at like an LCD screen of some sort. I need to get away from the curated information.
Yeah.
And as these new generations come through, I think that sense of when it's time to get off the computer or time to get off your phone, I think that's going to evaporate.
It's not even time to get off the computer when you're at a Harry Styles concert because you're recording the whole thing so that you can make him look good on Twitter when he helps a fan come out.
Dude.
All of these people in the comments severely need to touch grass, just like you said, because they're literally saying like, oh, this got me like tearing up, like I'm actually crying right now. Why am I getting so emotional? This is such a beautiful gesture.
And people want to pretend like media isn't the most powerful thing in the entire world.
For all we know, the girl in the audience who did this, given that she's with her parents right now, she probably is a minor, and she is getting conditioned by thousands of people screaming in excitement around her that the most exciting and valuable thing about her identity as a person, like the most important thing about her is that she is attracted to other women. Like, I mean, let alone thinking about like, you know, it being introspective about it for a second.
The only thing that matters now is who you want to sleep with.
It's the easiest way, like, to announce things about your sexual or gender identity. It's the easiest way to get attention, quick and easy, from literally thousands of people around you in person and on the internet.
For doing nothing.
All you did was hold up a sign.
It's
mutually beneficial because then Harry Styles gets the clout out of looking like he's such a good guy and he has such a heart of gold just for like putting on a little show of his own narcissism about it.
It's I mean, what is
it's
it like?
so disheartening. This is where we're at right now.
Is this like his version of like Justin Bieber would like bring women up on like one woman up on stage per show
sing
and like,
One Less Lonely Girl
to a girl, right? So is it like his weird 2023 version of that?
Maybe he should start doing like One Less Lonely Boy so he's more inclusive. He brings up a gay fan on stage.
That's what he'll have to do. If he eventually gets canceled one day for being religious and going to a church that supposedly doesn't like gay people, he will have to be like, look, I am with you guys. I am going to make One Less Lonely Boy.
Yeah.
Or One Less Lonely They Them. And
One Less Lonely Them.
he will make One Less Lonely
it's
Them.
Be One Less Lonely.
And that will end up being how he gets back in their good graces.
For some reason, I always like misinterpreted the meaning of that song in my head, like as a little joke to myself that he was like on the way to kill her.
Oh my God.
Like there's gonna be one less lonely girl.
You that says a hell of a lot more.
But I
about
was a
you.
believer.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. I was a big Justin Bieber fan back when he like
wore the purple hat.
And like he is like very talented, but like one of the last I think that him and One Direction maybe are like the last like straight white guys who can be idols to girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
like BTS has replaced that.
And for him and for Justin Bieber, he was he had his own bad boy phase, which was even more in the line of what happens to those stars as they age too. Look, I loved it when he was pissing in mop buckets and causing mayhem and spitting on fans. I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, you know what? He's got to go through his own thing, right? You've been a star from a very, very young age. Scooter Braun, you know, Scooter, that was who it was, right? It was his producer, Scooter Braun.
It was the person that scouted him from his YouTube videos.
And he got found from YouTube. So, you know, it is what it is.
I'm just wondering who is going to throw Harry Styles his coming out party?
Justin Timberlake. Somebody older has to do it. So Justin Timberlake can do it.
I don't know if it's ever going to happen because Harry Styles doesn't want to come out. He wants to continue queer baiting for money.
He wants to be on both sides of the spectrum there.
He's really come out hundreds of times. We just didn't know.
Yeah, most likely. Well, I mean that, or maybe like Olivia Wilde was the guy in the relationship.
Possibly.
Harry pegged.
Possibly.
She had him pegged.
I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, I don't know if her relationship with Jason Sudeikis was very healthy.
I mean, she doesn't exactly strike me as the most well-adjusted person in the entire world. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, not the best at sustaining a healthy relationship.
Is she with someone now? I think she's with someone else now too. Though I don't remember who. But she broke up with him. Who will she end up with next? Whoever, it'll be somebody in the next movie she makes, which nobody will go see.
Yeah.
Or no? Are they gonna? Are they making a new Tron? I thought they might be making a new Tron. Maybe she'll be in that.
Oh yeah. So. I also saw this tweet, by the way, that I wanted to bring up. Someone said that the vibe at shows by Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson are completely different, where people at Harry Styles concerts will give you dirty looks for carrying a pride flag. And at Louis Tomlinson's shows, it's like a pride fest.
Wait, why would they give them dirty looks?
I have no idea, because Harry Styles is the most flamboyant, fruity man I've ever seen.
I'm going to source bro this one.
And then someone quote-tweeted it and said that Harry Styles, they're kind of saying the quiet part out loud here. Harry Styles made his shows all about helping fans coming out. His shows are a pride parade from both him and his fans.
So the fans are really just annoyed.
His concerts are the definition of a safe space. Well, y'all have an account dedicated to counting the days until Louis touches one. Yeah, a different vibe. I wouldn't want to go to any concert that is the definition of a safe space. That means that you are lame and your art sucks.
He's like, we were going to do a mosh pit, but we were worried that people were going to get hurt.
Whatever happened to like making art that feels transgressive and edgy?
It's nowadays, that doesn't exist anymore. It literally does. I mean, it does. Like, to be fair, it exists, but it exists in a realm where to be non-mainstream now, you have to be so offensive that...
I mean, even the genre of music that would have a mosh pit
rap music
has turned woke.
Rap music is where you go for transgressive music.
I wish Phil were here to back that up, because it's the way that even heavy music has been appropriated and wokeified is like
rap
crazy.
music. Rap music is unabashedly
pro-misogynist. The people who have
pro-misogynist.
the least right to talk about wokeness, to preach to anyone, based on their track record, are turning the wokest. Like, the people who have the least right to preach about it, always.
It's a mask for them. You know, they won't come for me if I wear the veil. But rap music is still unabashedly pro-misogyny. I'm here for it. Like, there's...
I don't think they would like admit that out loud, but
they don't need to, because it's just part of the culture. Like,
but I thought you said that you think that it's become too vulgar and it's not wholesome enough anymore. Like, I guess that's more R&B than rap. But.
No, yeah, those are not the same genres to me. Like, when I think of R&B, I think of like Boyz II Men or All for One. That's not the same as listening to UGK or 8Ball and MJG or Spice One or any of these rappers or anything like this, like back in the day. Like that, those are different genres entirely.
I just found this comment on the video of the coming out where someone seems like totally unaware of where we're at as a culture. They said, I like the sentiment behind this, but it's been pretty well established that the best way to come out to family about things like being LGBT is to not make a big spectacle about it. The we need to have a talk thing just makes it all the worse in most cases. It sets up some huge, dramatic, life-altering thing and primes parents for something horrible and dreadful. Kudos to Harry for being supportive, but if you're trying to come out, please don't do it this way.
Well, the kid wanted to come out this way.
The person that commented this is probably right, but they don't understand that it provides more social cachet to, you know, and like internet clout to come out at a Harry Styles concert and end up on TikTok than to do it in the privacy of your own home, which is where all of these other things supposedly happen.
Now that conversation happens and the parents are priming themselves to find out that the kid wants to go to trade school, but instead they're like, oh, you're just gay. Oh, thank God.
Mom, Dad, I want to be a welder.
I want to be a welder. No, God, no.
I want to be an electrician.
Yeah, like...
Please don't disown me.
What we actually want in society, what we actually need is harder working blue-collar people, but because these parents are like NIMBY neoliberals, they're like, they think that those people don't matter, so they're like, oh, thank God, our child is just gay. She still wants to go to a horrible 4-year college where she will spend $200,000.
She still wants to be an overeducated
journalist that nobody will care about and will be in debt for the next 30 years as she goes on Twitter in her 20s to complain about student debt relief.
I think sexuality needs to turn into something that we're ashamed of again.
Or at least just something where it's like it doesn't need to be talked about.
Because of shame, though. Because it's inherently private.
But it also used to be. But now it's a thing where it's like because it's no longer inherently like understood what it means when you talk about sexuality. It becomes a larger discussion because it used to be like you would just assume when a girl says I like someone, you knew what they were talking about. But now because you don't know. If it's a guy, girl, they, them, it invites further discussion, which makes it something that has to be talked about. This is one of those things that people do not understand, like how much, like when we talk about romantic comedies, like these things are no longer simple. You cannot make them simple anymore. And it means that a lot of stuff in the past was taken for granted.
You know, the diminishing returns of like kids' birthday parties where like, you know, when you have your 8th birthday party, a year to you is a way longer time than it is for someone who is like 30 something. That's why we celebrate it more. Yeah. And that's why we throw a big to-do about kids' birthday parties. Then as the years go on, each birthday usually is less special or less of a big deal because you've lived longer. Yeah. And that's just how it goes. But now we're at a point where the law of diminishing returns isn't applied to coming out. Like coming out in the 80s, yeah, maybe that had a bit of a shock factor. Maybe that was a big deal for you.
Even in the 90s.
Maybe that was a turning point in your life. But then increasingly from the 80s to the 90s, from the 90s to the 2000s, the 2000s to the 2010s, and now we're in the 2020s, we're expected to make more of a big to-do about it every single time that you come out. Yeah. And it's not shocking anymore. Nope. No one thinks that you're special because you're gay if everyone is gay.
Nor does it make the characters in movies and television special because
people just
gay.
Want people to like others to throw a party about them and like make a cake for them. And it's like, sorry, you're not 12 anymore. Grow up.
We get it. You have sexual preferences. Go to work. I'm going to work. You go to work. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
All right. We got some super chats there.
James Orenthal 1 said, Giles' music goes with everything. Plus, you are not the father.
I am not the father. And nor am I, will I ever end up on Jerry Springer, thank goodness.
Disco Jensen said, Creed 3 did big numbers fighting back wins.
$58 million at the box office this past weekend. So very good and a big win for Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. Did you see the thing? Okay. We didn't cover it where like he had like an interaction with some reporter who said that she thought like she apparently went to school with him and said that people like her friend group thought he was corny because he dated white women and he like roasted her.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, like we didn't end up covering it, and Tyrone Magnus covered it, but like it's one of those things where like he's like I'm corny because I dated white women. Like
that's sort of like racial infighting that I don't want to get involved in.
But it was crazy.
It's really weird, yeah.
But this happened on like a red carpet.
Really?
Yeah. Crazy.
So someone had the gall to say that to his face.
Yep. Touchy Subject says Brett would be tickled to have Jerry Springer's ratings and audience. Yes, I would. You are correct.
Oh, someone said that Maury was not the father, not Jerry Springer.
Okay, well, both of them in the same realm of over-the-top
television, which we love. Disco Jensen, Steve Ryman said, guys will date liberal women because realistically, we're not really interested in what you think. We have guy friends for that. Harsh but true. I think as long as there's a risk that a woman will abort your child, you should probably be interested in what they think about those issues.
Good point.
Or that they'll trans them, or that they'll send them to public school, or that they'll send them to daycare and insist on working, etc. These are all important issues.
How liberal matters.
You should be incredibly interested in that, actually. Potatoes for shame, or at least, you know, if you're planning on having a serious relationship.
Yeah, like he didn't specify kids there. So like if all you're looking is to date someone, or the idea is like simply like, look, is the idea that you can date someone and hopefully her beliefs will fall more in line with yours as the longer you date.
Hopefully. You never know. Potatoes for Seamus said, Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Mary wants tacos, Baba Booey.
You want tacos?
I do want tacos, but
I could totally go for tacos right now.
I don't really know the context for this.
I'm hungry.
Jacob Edler said, just watch Triple R already, damn it. He really wants you to. If you're trying to get into Bollywood, you know. Sour Patch Kid said, I couldn't just send a sticker, so here, I like it being just you guys. Good show.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We
don't need guests anyways.
Yeah, we're like good on our own. Like
we'll be fine on our own.
We're strong, independent man and woman. We don't need no man or woman. We don't need them.
Bobcat said, if someone gives up their U.S. citizenship, they should be deported immediately.
It'd be really funny.
Well, he's on a work visa, right?
Like he must be on a work visa now, otherwise he wouldn't be able to film movies here.
Yeah. John S. said, finally went to see Avatar Way of Water yesterday. I thought it was fantastic. I don't know what people are talking about.
I liked it. I mean,
it wasn't bad.
No, nobody said it was bad. I was like, aside from it just being really long.
I wouldn't call it fantastic. I mean, it's not exactly a movie that's gonna live in my heart forever.
I mean, when was the last time a movie lived in your heart forever?
Probably the only things that I watched in my childhood.
Yeah, like, for most people,
those days are over. Yeah. I watched the first Avatar in my childhood, and it didn't live in my heart forever.
Here's the thing, like we've been watching The Last of Us, right? And it's fine. It's whatever. Like, but it's never going to be something I'm ever going to rewatch again.
Absolutely not.
Like, never. Like, it's just not. Like, nothing. Very like when I give good reviews for movies today, I'm kind of giving you my review on partially on the movie and partially on how the experience was as a whole that one time. I'm not putting a lot of weight on whether I'm going to rewatch it or not, because to me, what I'm going to rewatch, those days are a lot of times over. Like, very few things that I've started watching in the 2020s are things that I'm going to be rewatching multiple times. Everything else that I rewatch is older.
And someone who is making a disingenuous argument could say, oh, it's just because you have the nostalgia factor because of things you watched when you were younger. But like, you're just denying the very obvious truth, which is that the quality is plummeted.
I'm not even talking about that much older. You know? I'm talking about things from the mid 2010s. Like, it's really funny. I was reading an article earlier, a really, really well written article about why they need to end the NCIS franchise. Oh. And in it, they point out, they said Person of Interest, which was the last great American procedural that started off as an episodic show and became a sci-fi serialized drama, meaning that like in the beginning you could just watch week to week and you'd be fine, but as you get into season 3 and they start dealing with the HR storyline, which leads into the Decima storyline, which leads into the Samaritan storyline, you really had to follow the whole way through, right? But it understood that as it went on, it never needed to go past season 5. Selfishly, I would have liked it to, because I loved all the characters, but it was just fine ending at season 5. And that's a show from 2011 that would have ended earlier, but there was a huge hiatus between seasons 4 and 5. Like, it took like 2 years for the last season to come out. So it really could have ended in 2014, ended in 2016. Those days are gone.
There are good shows still that get made like in recent years, but they get lost in the shuffle because there's just too much to sift through, and only the most popular and astroturfed shows get any attention, like The Last of Us.
I should rephrase, I did rewatch Reacher. A couple of times. So there's one in several years that I've rewatched, but like none of the movies that we went and reviewed have I gone back and rewatched.
I wouldn't be the type of person probably to rewatch something in theaters.
No, anyway. I'm saying, but they go to streaming and I don't rewatch them.
Yeah.
Like, have
you rewatched Maverick?
I've rewatched
Okay, there's an exception.
Okay, so we've
The
got
one exception.
we've got Maverick and we've got Reacher, and what are those both? Strong, like Chad alpha male leads. There you. Well, I guess like is Maverick. Really
I'll
a Chad alpha?
rewatch Top Gun when I watch the first and second with my future children.
There you go. Perfect.
I'll wait until then. Yash said, I don't use the notification bell. I use the Force.
Ooh, I wish I had access to
Still
that.
ring the bell, though.
I wish I had access to that.
Also, someone asked what happened to Hannah Claire. I'll tell you. She slipped on a banana peel.
Yep. She'll be back next
It's
week.
out of order right now.
Let's hold off on the rest. I just want to do this little thing
Okay.
quick here at the end. This great little bit from Nicolas Cage. Guys, Nicolas Cage he's bigger than Marvel, as we all know. Did you know that he chose his stage name after the character Luke Cage from
No, I
Marvel?
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why there's a Stan Lee cameo. So look. They basically asked him like about Marvel. He says, I got to be nice about Marvel movies because I named myself after a Stan Lee character named Luke Cage. What am I going to do? Put Marvel movies down? Stan Lee is my surrealistic father. He named me. I understand what the frustration is. I get it. But I think there's plenty of room for everybody. And then when they pressed him about the possibility of him coming back as Ghost Rider, I only saw the first Ghost Rider. I didn't see the second one. It says, I don't need to be in the MCU. I'm Nick Cage. I love it. I
kind
love
of
it.
a boss statement.
I love it. He's freaking great, and he's. I made a comment last night when Vera Dark posted that, and I was like, I'm gonna go rewatch Lord of War or Gone in 60 Seconds now, just because I read this. And somebody's like, why don't you rewatch Ghost Rider? I said, in fact, no, I'm gonna rewatch Kick-Ass because Kick-Ass is the best.
It's kick-ass.
Yes, everyone loves Kick-Ass. So, have you seen? Do you have a Nicolas Cage movie that you like?
Nothing's coming to mind, but I'm looking forward to Renfield.
Yeah, you should watch.
It's like a dark comedy, I guess.
Yeah, Gone in 60 Seconds is a personal favorite of me, of mine,
Of me.
of me. I love that movie. So good for Nicolas Cage. Also, it kind of proves here that you don't need to look like a character to identify with him if he named himself after a black superhero. If he named it,
That's true. Would someone even do that today?
like would they pick their stage name after a black superhero if they thought they were going to get in trouble for it now?
What is his real name?
I don't know what his. I don't know what his. I just know his stage name, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, he chose that.
I mean,
name.
I didn't even know that was a stage name until now.
So he chose it after Luke Cage. So I wonder if Mike Coulter has anything to say about it. Mike Coulter is the one who plays Luke Cage on Netflix. So
it's cultural appropriation.
or maybe okay. So they mentioned Con Air here. So maybe I'll watch Con Air or Snake Eyes. So. All right, we got a couple of super chats
still
there
have
at the
some.
end. We got a couple.
Cody McNutt said, "Get the Z Fold. It's worth it."
Yeah, that if I got one of the fold cell phones,
Don't get an Android. Get an iPhone.
I'm a Galaxy person all the way.
Uh,
Look, I used to have.
but there's no point to the Fold anyway, right? Just get a tablet, right?
Yeah, like I said, there's that guy who used to hang out at the pizza shop who'd talk on a tablet, and I was just like, dude, not it.
It just looks.
It looked ridiculous.
I think the Fold looks dorky as well. That's my point. It's just you look like you're opening a little book.
all the time.
I'm opening my little book.
You got your little. I saw this great ad the other day for apparently like in the 1950s they had this great like it was like a little book set that you could travel with. Like if you got on airplanes, it's like a box about this big, and it's got like little notebooks in it, like looks like little authorship books, and then one of them's a flask.
Oh.
It's a hidden flask. It's like, man, even in the 50s, people were sneaking crap on airplanes. I guess in the 50s, it wouldn't have been because it was illegal. It would be because it was uncouth to do that.
I thought that they would serve alcohol.
You'd think.
Anyway, because
Yeah.
it was more of a luxury thing to fly back
And everybody
then.
everybody dressed up to fly back then.
Yeah,
You wore a
back
suit
when
and
we
tie.
had respect. I mean, I don't think that you should maybe wear a suit and tie on a plane necessarily, but you shouldn't wear just straight up pajamas.
Yeah.
That
not
seems
a,
like
not a fan of
too far.
Who was it? An actor, Mike Epps, got arrested for having like a gun, bringing a gun on an airplane. It was like one of those ones that folds out. Like it was like hidden, and he tried to like sneak it on an airplane. It was on it was literally on TMZ today.
Didn't see that.
Yeah, like it was like he could, and like he didn't get arrested, which is total celebrity privilege. Like he didn't even get booked. Like, it's one thing if you're like, if the gun is not hidden and you're like, I forgot it was packed. Like, that happened to somebody else recently too, where somebody who travels a lot with firearms.
There was, wait, what was this guy's name that you just mentioned?
Mike Epps.
I remember there was this guy, I forget his name, but he was on like Wizards of Waverly Place on Disney.
Okay.
The actor who played like Selena Gomez's brother or whatever, and he got caught at an airport with his security with his gun, and he had no idea that he had come with it on him.
That's like a meme too. It's like you're going through airport security, and someone's like, "Did I pack a gun?"
I forget what his name was now.
I've never flown with any of the weapons. I left all my guns in Minnesota. I didn't bring any here just because Maryland state laws out here are so strict that it's just a hassle.
Bobcat said, Mary, that's exactly backwards of the problem. It's not that we don't have debutante balls. It's that now the debutantes do have balls.
See? Everything's too complicated. The world is too complicated now.
The Knickerbocker said, normally a podcast listener, Mary was rolling 20s yesterday on Victoria's Secret with no F's given. Keep it up, guys and gals. Where is meme review?
We will.
We haven't done one recently.
We will have to get on that.
But yeah, no given. James Orenthal Wen said, trap generally is modern to live crew content.
To live crew content. To live crew, the hip hop group.
Oh, okay.
I don't listen to a lot of trap. I've been listening to mostly old rap lately, but I go through my phases with music. What have you been listening to lately?
I have not been listening to music at all.
Nothing at all?
Because I just don't see explore much music anyway, but like I don't come across anything that I like these days.
I go through like phases where I find new music every 6 months. Like I find a bunch at once every 6 months or something like that. It is like 3 months.
I drove here in silence today because I just thought it would be better.
Like
I just thought, maybe you don't need to be entertained right now, but usually it's a podcast. Rico Cantrell said litter and juice.
That would be the name of our company.
You'll like advertise the litter by pouring wine into it and seeing how well it clumps.
And we can get a version of the song Gin and Juice as like a theme song.
Okay. Lane sent us a thumbs up.
Thank you, Lane.
Thank you. Big Dave said, watch Raising Arizona, classic Nick Cage.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of suggestions for that. May have to look into that as well. I have not seen that one. That is one that I have not seen. So, all right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Mary, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you?
Yes, you can find pictures of me on Instagram at Mary Archived, and you can send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived. And I guess since you mentioned the meme review, if you want your memes or clips or edits or whatever to be reacted to on the next meme review, you should go to our subreddit and post them there, and we're gonna do that soon. I don't know exactly when. We'll have to figure it out.
All right, guys, thank you again so much for joining us today on this two-person show. If you would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Brett Dasovic. This show is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. If you would like to listen to this show, it is on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you would like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at popculturecrisis, and on Instagram at popculturecrisispod. We will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Bye.